What if I told you that the hairstyle you've trusted for years, the one that's felt like a part of you, might quietly be adding 10 years to your appearance? Without you even realizing it? It's not your fault. In fact, you're not alone. So many of us have held on to styles, colors, and routines that once worked beautifully, back when our hair was thicker, our skin more vibrant, and the mirror seemed a little more forgiving. But as time moves forward, our needs change, and when our style doesn't evolve with us, it can actually start to work against the confidence we've spent a lifetime building. In this video, we're going to talk about 3 common hairstyle habits that may be making you look older, not intentionally, just quietly. And more importantly, I'll show you 3 gentle, elegant alternatives that can bring light, movement, and energy back into your look without a dramatic makeover. Because this isn't about chasing youth. It's about honoring the woman you are now and choosing to feel radiant on your own terms. Let's begin. 1. The darkness dilemma. When jet black turns against you. Let's talk about something that might feel familiar. Holding on to dark, jet black hair because it once made you feel powerful, confident, and maybe even a little mysterious. For many women, black hair has been a signature, bold, dramatic, striking, and for years it worked beautifully. But here's the truth most of us aren't told. As we age, that same jet black shade can begin to work against us. Not because it's a bad color, but because of the contrast it creates, especially next to skin that has naturally softened over time. Our skin loses a bit of that rosy flush we had in our 30s and 40s. It becomes more delicate, even a little translucent in some areas. And when you place that deep, inky black color right next to it, it can exaggerate shadows, deepen fine lines, and draw attention to features you'd rather soften, like under-eye circles or smile lines. It's not about giving up dark hair. It's about adjusting how we wear it. Maybe that means shifting toward a deep, rich brown with warm undertones, or adding subtle chestnut or caramel highlights to bring light back around the face. Even just softening the color slightly, 1 or 2 shades lighter, can make your skin glow instead of disappear. And let's talk about maintenance. Black dye creates a sharp contrast when your natural gray roots start growing in. You might notice that even a 1/4 inch of regrowth shows up clearly, sometimes from across the room. That means touch-ups every 2 or 3 weeks just to keep it looking fresh. And honestly, who has the time or the patience for that anymore? Here's the real question to ask yourself. Does this color still serve me? Or am I wearing it because I always have? There's no shame in staying dark. But there's power in exploring softness. Because when your hair color works with your skin tone, not against it, you don't just look more vibrant, you feel more vibrant. Coming up next, we'll talk about another hidden habit, one that may seem like it adds glamour, but might actually be doing the opposite. 2. The volume trap. Why big hair isn't always better. Let's go back for a moment. Back to the 70s and 80s. Remember the teased roots, the high crowns, the hairspray so strong it could survive a thunderstorm? That big, bold hair made us feel glamorous. It lifted more than just our appearance. It lifted our confidence. But here's the thing. What worked then might not be working now. Our hair changes as we age. It becomes finer, sometimes drier, and definitely more delicate. And when we try to force that same big volume by teasing, spraying, and building it sky high, we often get a look that feels stiff, dated, and a little out of sync with who we are today. Teasing the hair to create height might seem like a shortcut to fullness, but it comes at a cost. Over time, the teasing and spraying damage already fragile strands, leading to more breakage and, ironically, less volume in the long run. And let's not forget the styling routine, the brushes, the tangles, the scalp that just wants a break. Visually, over-teased hair can also throw off your natural proportions. If your features have softened with age, which is perfectly normal, that extra height on top can make your face look smaller or even rounder than it really is. It pulls the eye upward, creating imbalance rather than harmony. And here's another subtle truth. Hairstyles that feel too set or rigid often send the wrong message. Not intentionally, but stiff hair can come across as unapproachable, even a little tired. What we want now is movement, lightness, a softness that feels natural, not forced. So what's the alternative? Modern volume. Not towering teased crowns, but gentle lift at the roots. Products like root lifting spray or lightweight volumizing mousse can do wonders. Add soft layers that create movement rather than height. Let your hair flow. Let it catch the light. Respond to your energy. Sway with you instead of standing still. Because you don't need big hair to make a big impression anymore. Your presence, your smile, your ease, that's what people notice. Let your hairstyle support that, not compete with it. Up next, we'll take a look at a cut many women turn to for shape and bounce. But if you're not careful, it can create more chaos than charm. 3. When layers turn on you, the cut that quit. There's a good chance you've heard this advice before. Add layers. They'll give your hair volume and shape. And for many years, that was true. Layers helped lift flat hair, gave movement, and made us feel lively. But over time, especially after 50 or 60, our hair's texture changes. It often becomes thinner, finer, and a bit more unpredictable. And those same layers that once worked beautifully, they start flipping the wrong way, puffing up in all the wrong places, and making the morning mirror feel like a battleground. We've all had that moment. You brush your hair and it doesn't fall into place. One side curls under, the other sticks straight out. The back? You're not even sure what it's doing. And it's not you. It's the cut. The problem is choppy, uneven layers that aren't blended well. They fight against your hair's natural texture instead of working with it. And what's worse, they require daily maintenance. Blow drying, curling, brushing, spraying, just to look halfway decent. Let's be honest. Who wants to spend 30 minutes every morning just convincing their hair to behave? Even more, bad layering doesn't just make styling harder. It can actually hide your best features. Layers that fall awkwardly around your cheeks or jawline can pull your face downward, making you look tired or even older. Instead of highlighting your eyes, your smile, your expression, they create clutter. Visual noise that distracts from everything that makes your face beautiful. And for those of us with thinning hair, too many layers remove precious weight, the volume we need. Suddenly, you're left with flyaways, frizz, and more scalp showing than you'd like. Here's the bottom line. Your haircut should work with your life, not against it. If it's making your mornings harder and hiding your face instead of highlighting it, it might be time to let that old cut go. The good news? There are cuts that do all the things layers used to do, but better and with far less effort. Coming up, we'll shift from what to avoid to what actually works. 3 flattering, low-maintenance styles that feel as fresh as they do timeless. 4. Curtain bangs. Softness that frames and flatters. Let's talk about something you might never have expected to hear again, bangs. Now, before you roll your eyes or flash back to that one haircut you spent 6 months growing out, hear me out. Because curtain bangs aren't those bangs. They're not blunt, they're not boxy, and they're definitely not the ones you had pinned to your forehead in the 80s. Curtain bangs are a different story entirely. They're soft, face-framing pieces that part gently in the middle, or just slightly to the side, and sweep down along the cheeks like delicate drapes. The effect is light, graceful, and subtly transformative. Why do these work so well after 50 or 60? Because they bring focus to the right places. your eyes, your cheekbones, your smile, while drawing attention away from things like forehead lines or thinning at the temples. They soften everything without covering anything. You still look like you, just a little brighter, a little lighter, a little more open. And unlike the bangs of our past, these are low maintenance. You don't need a round brush, a blow dryer, and a prayer to get them into place. Most days you can style them with just your fingers and a little bit of styling cream. And if you ever feel like growing them out, they blend seamlessly into the rest of your haircut. Even better, curtain bangs pair beautifully with so many different styles. Bobs, lobs, shoulder-length waves. They add just enough change to feel fresh without ever making you feel like you're trying too hard. And perhaps the best part, they give your look a sense of playfulness and ease. A reminder that yes, you still like to try new things. Yes, you still care about how you feel in your skin. And no, you're not trying to look 20. You're just showing up as your best, most present self. Coming up next, if bangs aren't quite your thing, don't worry. The next style brings bounce, shape, and freedom, all while letting you keep a little length. 5. The textured lob. Movement meets freedom. Let's be honest, not everyone wants to go short, and that's perfectly okay. There's something deeply comforting about keeping a little length in your hair, especially if you've worn it long for most of your life. Maybe it's the way it brushes your shoulders. Maybe it's the comfort of tying it back into a ponytail when you're in a rush. Or maybe it's simply that you don't feel like you without a bit of softness and movement around your neckline. But at the same time, long hair, especially as we get older, can start to feel heavy, flat, or just plain tired. It might lack the bounce it once had. It may begin to drag your face down rather than lifting it up. And if your hair is getting thinner or drier, it can lose that natural shine and life it used to carry. That's where the textured lob, short for long bob, steps in. It's not too short. It's not too long. It's the in-between that so many of us have been searching for without even realizing it. Typically, the textured lob falls just above or right at the shoulders. Some versions graze the collarbone, while others go a touch longer. What makes this cut so special isn't just its length, it's the way it's shaped. It features subtle, blended layers that create natural movement and flow without the choppiness that's hard to manage. This style doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't fight your features. It supports your look with grace, giving your face the lift and softness it deserves, especially around the cheeks and jawline, which can benefit from gentle framing as we age. And here's something truly refreshing. The textured lob is incredibly low maintenance. That's right. No more wrestling with curling irons, flat irons, and complicated blowouts. Most women find that this style works beautifully with just a bit of air drying or a quick pass with a round brush. If you like a little wave, you can twist it gently while damp, sleep in a loose braid, or use a curling wand for a soft bend. It looks polished without being perfect, and that's the point. This haircut also adapts to your hair texture. Whether your hair is fine, medium, straight, or slightly wavy, the lob enhances what you already have, rather than trying to turn it into something it's not. It adds volume and lightness in the right places, without requiring layers that need constant touch-ups. Another major bonus? The textured lob grows out beautifully. You're not locked into a dramatic shape that becomes awkward in 3 weeks. It keeps its form, even as it gets a little longer, which means fewer salon visits and less stress. If you decide later that you want to go shorter or grow it longer, the transition is simple and seamless. And let's talk about color. Whether you're blending natural gray with highlights, embracing a silver streak, or adding soft lowlights for dimension, the textured lob gives your color space to shine. The subtle movement in the cut catches light in all the right places. It adds depth and softness, rather than creating harsh lines or flat shadows. But beyond all the technical perks, and there are many, The textured lob feels right. It feels modern, but not trendy. Stylish, but not overdone. It's the kind of cut that says, I still care how I look, but I don't need to work this hard to feel beautiful anymore. Because beauty at this stage of life isn't about chasing the styles we wore 20 years ago. It's about finding what fits us now, our energy, our schedule, our comfort, and our confidence. The textured lob honors all of that. So if you're not quite ready for a short crop and long hair is starting to feel more like a burden than a joy, the textured lob might be the gentle shift you've been waiting for. It's flexible, flattering, feminine, and most importantly, it moves with you, not against you. Up next, we'll explore a cut that's even simpler, a timeless style that quietly lifts everything, your features, your routine, and your sense of ease. 6. The soft bob. Elegant simplicity at any age. There's a moment that happens to almost every woman when you stand in front of the mirror and realize the haircut you've had for years just doesn't feel right anymore. It's not that it's bad, it's familiar, it's safe, but it might not be serving you the way it used to. Maybe it's starting to drag your features down or requires more time than you want to spend. Or maybe it just doesn't reflect who you are now. The version of you that has grown into more wisdom, more self-respect, and a stronger sense of what feels good. That's where the soft bob comes in. Now let's clear something up. When many people hear the word bob, they imagine something harsh. A sharp line at the chin, a stiff style that needs constant maintenance, or a look that reminds them of a haircut they saw back in the 1950s. But the soft bob is none of those things. This version of the bob is all about ease, movement, and quiet confidence. It typically falls somewhere between the chin and collarbone, just long enough to feel feminine, just short enough to stay modern and manageable. What makes it soft is the gentle layering, the natural shape that flatters the face without hard lines or bulk. For women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, the soft bob is a gift. Why? Because it does something remarkable. It brings lightness back to your face. The way it lifts the jawline, the way it opens up the cheeks, the way it draws attention upward to your eyes, to your smile. It's not a style that screams for attention, but it turns heads in the best possible way, with grace, not effort. And let's talk about texture. As our hair matures, it often becomes finer, more delicate, sometimes even a bit wiry or unpredictable. The soft bob works with these changes, not against them. Whether your hair is straight, wavy, or somewhere in between, this cut helps you show off its natural texture without needing a lot of heat tools or products. This is a haircut that understands your time is valuable. Most days, it can air dry and still look polished. If you want a bit more shape, a round brush and 5 minutes with a blow dryer is usually all it takes. You don't need to fight your hair into place. The soft bob meets it where it is and elevates it gently. And here's something else that makes this cut so timeless. It's versatile. Want to tuck it behind your ears? You can. Want to add a side part or a slight wave? No problem. Want to let your natural gray or silver show through? The bob handles that beautifully. In fact, the clean shape of a soft bob often enhances color. It reflects light, adds dimension, and keeps everything looking fresh. If you're still coloring your hair, this style gives you the perfect canvas for highlights, lowlights, or a gentle transition away from dye. If you're embracing your grays, the bob helps you do it proudly, not as a compromise, but as a confident choice. And maybe most importantly, the soft bob doesn't just change how you look, it can change how you feel. Many women describe getting this haircut as freeing, a sigh of relief, like shedding a layer of trying and stepping into something that just feels right. It's simple, yes, but don't confuse simple with boring. This haircut is soft, but it's not plain. It's understated but never invisible. It reflects a kind of beauty that doesn't need to raise its voice because it's sure of itself. It's the kind of style that says, I'm not chasing trends, I'm not trying to look like I'm 30, I'm showing up exactly as I am. And that's more than enough. So if your current style feels like it's weighing you down, or you're just ready for a fresh start that doesn't feel scary, the soft bob might be the perfect next step. Not a drastic change, just a thoughtful shift toward simplicity, toward elegance, and toward yourself. Next, we'll wrap everything up and leave you with 3 simple takeaways that can guide you, not just in the salon, but every time you look in the mirror and wonder, what feels right for me today? Bonus: 5 timeless hair tips that work with any style. At any age, no matter what haircut you wear, whether it's a bob, a lob, or long flowing layers, there are a few timeless hair habits that can help you look and feel your best. These aren't trend-based. They're practical, gentle adjustments that support healthier, more flattering hair at any stage of life. Tip number 1. Go softer with your part. A harsh middle or deep side part can sometimes create unwanted lines or make thinning more visible. Try a slightly off-center part or even a gentle zigzag to break up the scalp line. It adds a touch of volume and keeps the style looking natural, not forced. Tip number 2. Adjust your haircut to your neckline, not your age. The wrong length can make your neck look shorter or highlight areas you'd rather downplay. A good rule of thumb? If your neck is more slender or defined, a slightly shorter cut will accentuate that beautifully. If your neckline is softer, go a bit longer and let your hair frame gently. It's not about age. It's about proportion. Tip number 3. Don't be afraid of texture. Whether it's waves, layers, or soft curls, texture adds life. Straight hair can sometimes lie too flat and pull the face down. But when you add movement, even just a little, it creates lift, softness, and youthfulness without looking styled to death. A few bends with a curling wand or an overnight braid can go a long way. Tip number 4. Less product, more impact. As hair gets finer, it can't handle heavy gels or creams the way it used to. Choose lighter formulas. Think mousse, root spray, or flexible hold hairspray. And always start with less. You can add more if needed, but using too much can make your hair look weighed down and older than it should. Tip number 5. Match your style to your energy, not your past. It's tempting to hold on to a style because it reminds you of the old you. But the truth is, you're not the woman you were 20 years ago, and that's a good thing. Choose cuts and colors that reflect how you feel now. Strong, softer, more confident, more yourself. When your hair aligns with your present, everything about you lights up. These tips aren't about rules, they're about freedom. Freedom to adapt, to experiment, and to wear your hair in a way that feels beautiful, without feeling like a burden. So whether you're rocking a short pixie, a shoulder-length lob, or letting your silver strands grow long and proud, these gentle, thoughtful shifts can help your hairstyle work with you, not against you. Let's be clear. This journey isn't about chasing youth. It's about choosing what truly honors the woman you are today. Your hair has changed, just like you have. And that's not something to resist. It's something to embrace with kindness. Whether you're exploring a new cut, softening your color, or simply parting your hair in a way that feels better, the goal isn't to look younger. It's to feel more like you, not the version from 20 years ago, but the wiser, more grounded, more radiant version standing here right now. Because when your hair reflects your inner self, your strength, your ease, your evolution, everything shifts. You walk differently. You smile without thinking. You show up fully. So if anything in this video touched something in you, I hope you give yourself permission to try something new. Not because you should, but because you can. You're not starting over. You're starting fresh. And that, my friend, is a powerful and beautiful place to be. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful tips. I'll see you next time. Have a lovely day.